On the show floor here at PAX Prime 2012 in front of the PAX 10, one of our favorite sites here at PAX. Some of the most awesome indie games that you're going to see here on the PAX Prime show floor. Let's go look at them. We are here now with Ryan Chu, programmer on Deity. Ryan, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
How does it feel to be another Ryan?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
It's the greatest name in the world.
Fucking A. So, Deity is the game.
Yeah. Yes.
This started off as a DigiPen project, correct?
Yes, it still is actually. It's a stealth action game inspired by other titles like Diablo and Batman Arkham Asylum. We took 15 months for development and we released it last year in December. It's free to play, so you can download and give it a try if you wanted to. Deity-game.com.
So, I mean, Diablo and Batman, those are pretty disparate sources of influence there. What is it that you feel like you guys are taking from those games specifically?
We liked the isometric view from Diablo, and we felt that it wasn't really done in stealth games that much. We just wanted to experiment with that, and we really liked the concept in Batman Arkham Asylum where you could hide in the shadows and gain leverage over your enemies, and we tried to bring that into our game as well.
Now, it's also a mouse-only game, correct?
Yes, it is. So you play it purely with just the left, right, and middle mouse buttons. We try to streamline the controls as much as possible to make it as easy to play.
Awesome. Now you said free to play. Do you guys have any sort of hooks as far as getting paid on this thing, or you're just throwing it out there just for people to play?
Throwing it out there for people to play. We've all graduated, so we've moved on into the industry. So this is pretty much just for people to get it out there and get people to play it.
Very cool. Well, the game looks awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Awesome.
All right, now I'm joined by Gus Hoover, one of the designers here on Catch-22. Gus, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. This is a real striking-looking game. Tell us about the kind of the core idea behind Catch-22.
Okay, Catch-22, it's a one-button arcade game, and you play against yourself. So in this game, you're controlling one of two orbs that's around this planet, and you have to pick up those coins, and you have to jump. So that's the only thing you do in this game is jump. But when you pick up all the coins and switch to the other player, your previous self will repeat all the jumps you did. So you have to avoid your own jumps with new jumps until you switch again, and then have to avoid those jumps.
So just going back and forth forever until you kill yourself.
Infinity game, yeah, that's it. That's it.
What was the inspiration on this? What was what got you guys to this idea?
This game was made during the Global Game Jam, so this game was made in 2 days, and the subject of the Global Game Jam was the Ouroboros. It's the snake that eats itself, and we wanted to make a game in which you bite yourself in the ass, and that's what this game does. So
you're just constantly fighting against your own ghost, so when you're playing you want to make sure that you're going to give future you enough space that you can move around.
Yes, but there's a trick to it, because the faster you are picking up those coins, the higher score you get. So when you take longer, your score gets lower, but you'll make it easier on yourself the next turn. So when you get faster, it gets harder, but you get higher score.
That sounds awesome. We see we've got it here on a big TV. You're also showing it off over on the iPad. Tell us what platforms you guys are developing for and what your plan to release is.
Oh, it's already out on Facebook right now. You can play it for free forever. And it will be on the iPhone and Android phones in a couple of weeks. And that will be like somewhere around mid-September at the beginning of October. And in the meanwhile, you can play it on Facebook. It's the same version that you will get on your iPhone or on your Android phone. So that's what it is right now.
Excellent. Catch-22, Gus, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Matt. Thank you.
Joining me now is Ali Harjola, creative director of The Swapper. You've got multiple bodies in the world, and you're able to swap yourself in between them, or project another clone of yourself out there. And it's a lot of traversal stuff. It's a lot of puzzle platforming, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And the game itself is about kind of like swapping minds between bodies. It's a puzzle platformer with lots of exploration. And it's made very atmospheric, so the game is just about exploring this place and figuring out what's going on there. And the art in the game is made out of clay, and we are also using another real-life objects, so that's where the very detailed look comes from. The puzzles itself in the game, they are only centered around a few different mechanics, and these mechanics are so kind of like interesting that we are going very deep with them. So the whole game is about just exploring everything we can do with just a few different things. And that's probably what makes it actually very interesting, because most puzzle games these days, they're just like give you new mechanics every few minutes and so on.
So you're just trying to wring the most out of each of the mechanics that you can.
Yeah, but on the other hand also we have like scrapped almost half of the puzzles we have built for the game. But the game is anyway around 5 to 8 hours.
And I hear it's also can be devilishly hard.
It could be. I think it depends on player, of course. Yeah.
Excellent. So you guys still have ways to go in development, correct?
I think it's coming in about 4 months. That could be a pretty good estimate. But probably estimates are often pretty bad also, so it could be even 6 months or more.
Somewhere around there. Very good. Ollie, the game looks awesome. The Swapper, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Ty Taylor joining us now, lead designer on The Bridge. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Fantastic. Ty, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. It's great to be at the PAX 10.
I mean, it's being cherry-picked for this seems like it's a pretty awesome thing, getting a little exposure for your game. Tell us about just, what's the idea behind The Bridge?
So The Bridge is a puzzle game. It's essentially what you would get if you had MC Escher make a game with Isaac Newton. It's
so non-Euclidean space and physics puzzles.
That's exactly right. The player essentially has control over gravity, and that's the base mechanic. We split it into chapters, and each chapter introduces a new gravity-based mechanic that you can use.
So, I mean, you're talking about some pretty haughty inspiration here. Like, what brought this about? Like, how did you start with this idea?
Well, I think MC Escher was the basic inspiration for this. I've always imagined myself walking around inside of an MC Escher print, like this impossible architecture that doesn't actually make sense in the real world. But it's possible in a video game, and I wanted to create that.
So you guys are doing kind of playing again with 2D and 3D space, but you also have the art style very, very clearly inspired by MC Escher. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, essentially like the puzzles, I like to say 2.5D, but it depends how you define it. All the art is actually 2D hand-drawn in Photoshop, and all the puzzles are, or at least later in the game, the puzzles are designed to exploit this impossible reality and get the player thinking in ways that make absolutely no sense in our reality.
So how long have you guys been working on the game?
I've been at it over 2 years now.
It's just a small two-man team, or?
Yep.
Fantastic. What do you guys, are you looking to release soon? What's your schedule like? What are you coming out on?
We don't know exactly what we're coming out on. I'm developing on PC, so that. But I'm still talking to distributors. I'm looking to see how easy it would be to port, but we'll see. I hope for every platform. First half of next year.
Fantastic. Ty, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, now we've got Kyle Pulver, creator of Offspring Fling. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Tell us about your baby throwing game.
Well, it's a game about throwing babies.
Fantastic. Back to you. I'm done.
So yeah, you play as a forest creature who has misplaced all of her children after a run-in with a dinosaur. And you're going through the forest trying to rescue your children, and sometimes the only way to do that is to throw them. So you're solving puzzles, and you're beating up enemies with your children.
So Irresponsible Parenthood, is this like one of those indie games that has like some deep, profound personal meaning underneath it all?
Yeah, it's really about the troubles of a single mother, and just how it's so hard to raise your children in a forest full of dinosaurs.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's something that speaks to a lot of people for sure. What was the core inspiration here?
So it was actually a Game Jam game initially, and the theme of the Game Jam was motherhood. So I made a game where you're trying to rescue your kids, and then I put in the feature of throwing them, and that became the main mechanic of the game.
Now I see it's being played on a SNES controller over here, and you've got an FC Twin. Is that for real?
It might be a clever illusion, but it is a Super Pretendo game,
okay.
As well as a PC and Mac game.
Fantastic. When are you guys going to be putting this out? Do you have release dates yet?
It's actually out now. It came out on Steam on Mother's Day.
Wow, fantastic. Kyle, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks too.
All right, Matt Staltman, you are one of the co-founders or founder of Bootsnake Games?
Yeah, that's right, co-founder of Bootsnake Games. We're a, right now, a two-man development team, local in Seattle here, up in Ballard.
And you've got Containment, the zombie puzzler. You've combined the two things that everyone loves, apparently, Match 3 and zombies.
Correct, except we're not Match 3. Instead of matching 3 in our game, you're actually surrounding zombies. So to kill a zombie, you surround it with the same color tile, and they kill it. As you're playing the game, the zombies then infect your guys, eating them, turning them into zombies. So it's a race of you versus zombie to take over the board.
So you've cracked the code and you've added gore to puzzle games.
Yes, that's what we were going for. We wanted to, get it, show something a little different than's been done before with puzzle games.
So was that the original impetus, was to kind of twist puzzle games, or was it like you want to do something with zombies and you were just tired of what other people have been doing with zombies?
We actually started with the game Go. We wanted to make a Go game on Xbox Live is actually what we started on. And through working on that, the zombie theme just kind of fell in naturally, and then it's exploded into what it is now. Yeah.
So what are you guys developing for, and when are you looking to be out?
We are on Steam right now, on PC and Mac, and we're also on the iPad.
Fantastic. Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
We've got Asher Vollmer, designer of Puzzle Juice.
Puzzle juice.
How do you juice a puzzle, Asher?
Well, you squeeze it really hard and see everything that comes out.
Oh, what comes out of a puzzle?
Letters, colors, shapes.
So you've pretty much just taken like 3 kind of fundamental logic puzzle types that are very familiar to people who play video games, and you just smashed them all together.
That's right. I played Tetris one day and I was like, well, this is pretty boring, and decided that
How dare you!
I upset Tetris fans everywhere, and I sort of was like, your game that you love is too easy. I need to make it better, stronger, faster, and I did all these things, and I also added in spelling.
So you made a word puzzler plus Tetris plus a third ingredient?
It's color matching, like Bejeweled. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what does that actually mean, like on a mechanical level? Like how are we puzzling these 3 things at once?
Well, basically the Tetris pieces fall from the top, and instead of when you get a row, they don't go away, they just turn into letters. And the only way to get the blocks to go away, because if they reach the top of the screen you lose, is to spell words with the letters.
But the Tetris blocks never stop coming down?
They never stop coming down, even while you're spelling.
You're a son of a bitch, Asher.
Damn straight.
What are you developing for, and when are you looking to come out?
It's out right now on iPhone and iPad, and I'm currently working on a desktop version that should be out whenever I finish it.
Fantastic. Asher, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
We've got Pete Angstadt, lead designer on Canon Brawl. Pete, how you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent. How's it feel being part of the PAX 10 here?
It's been really great. This is my first PAX. It's crazy.
Tell us a little bit about your game.
So my game is a kind of a mix of Scorched Earth or Worms and an RTS. So it's all real time. It's got an economy element.
But you're going for the kind of the side-scrolling visual style.
And yeah, indestructible terrain is each player controls an airship. They're trying to destroy the other guy's headquarters. The airship can build buildings. You go inside and operate the buildings. So you get to choose where to shoot. You can upgrade all your cannons, and there's a ton of buildings to choose from.
Okay, so there is still the figuring out the angle on your shots and barraging the enemy's base in that style.
Exactly. And we've got some crazier things like a laser tower, and we're looking at implementing a lava tower that spits lava. We've got shields. It's all kinds of crazy stuff.
So you're talking about implementation. You guys are still pretty early in the development process?
Yeah, what we're showing here is our alpha build, and we're definitely a few months away from release, yeah.
Fantastic. What are you guys developing for?
We're going to come out on PC, on Steam, hopefully around December, but there's only 2 of us, so we'll see.
That's a lean team. I think people would understand if it had to slide one way or the other a little bit.
Yeah, and then we're probably going to come out on PlayStation 3, and we hope Xbox too, but we haven't pursued that much yet.
All right, so further platforms forthcoming. Pete, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got Will here, one of the co-owners of Cypher Prime, developers of Splice. Will, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. We've seen Splice before, so you guys have been around a little bit. For folks who don't know already, can you just give them a quick kind of overview of what the game's about?
Sure. So Splice is a hardcore puzzle game. It's a little experimental, but basically you're just trying to create life with binary data.
That seems pretty straightforward. How do you do that?
Oh my God, it's so not straightforward at all. It's the hardest game to describe to people ever. But it starts off, you're dragging and dropping. Later you mutate cells and you'll take whole trees of information and transport it from here to there. It's a very spatially aware puzzle game.
So is there anyone on the team that has like a biology background or something? Like what was the kind of the seed for this?
So it's meant to make you feel as if you're a scientist, but it's really just science-y. It's not really science.
So this is like Guitar Hero for science.
Yeah, for dummies, yeah. It's basically it. The basic concept was programming technique, binary trees. You know, you have the idea of having one parent and up to 2 children. So that's the whole basic game is, okay, let's play with that binary trees and then map it into radial space.
Awesome. So you guys have been out for a little bit. I see that you're showing off on the iPad as well. Tell people how they can play the game and if you guys have something that's coming out in the near future.
Sure, awesome. So we just did the iPad launch on Thursday. So you can get it in the App Store, obviously. It's called Splice Tree of Life. And it's also out on Steam for Mac and PC. and that's been out for, I guess, about 4 months. And right now, we did a Kickstarter a couple months ago for Auditorium, our very first game. It's a game where you have beams of light and you convert them into sound. We're doing Auditorium 2 called Duet, and we just started development for that. It's going to be a multiplayer Steam game, but it's probably going to be a month. It's going to be about a year of development, so we'll be doing some news and showing it off soon. We just got into the prototype land.
Excellent. Where can people find out information about that?
Cypherprime.com, CIPHERPRIME.com.
Excellent. Will, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much.
And last but not least, we're talking to Douglas Wilson about Johann Sebastian Joust. Doug, how you doing, sir?
Doing good.
What has the PAX 10 death toll been for Johann Sebastian Joust so far?
Pwned tons of noobs. Yeah, a lot. So.
Yeah. So good reaction from the crowd here to the game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, pretty happy with it.
I was, when I heard that Joust was going to be part of the PAX 10, I thought, oh my God, that's going to be crazy, because when we play it, chairs get thrown.
I've been trying to step in a little bit, so when people get a little too crazy, you gotta say, all right, guys, tone it down a little. But no, in general, people have been well behaved. So,
can you give them a quick overview?
Quick overview. There's no screen, so it's a game played with PlayStation Move controllers, which kind of like a Wiimote has like motion sensors in them, but it's also got this light. And so you kind of walk around an open space looking face to face with this controller, and you don't want to move it too fast. And you don't want anyone else to move your controller too fast, like hit the controller. And so you're just trying to be the last player remaining. The light kind of shows who's left in the game. It shows you what team you're on. And so it's a cool controller that we kind of just repurposed to this. It's almost more of like a playground game than it is a video game.
It's very physical in a way that games just generally aren't.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in motion control games and physical games, but then trying to do something just like real crazy with that technology, right? And yeah, physical and face to face and just a little nutty. So
I mean, the game's been kicking around for a while. I've played it many times over the past year and a half or so. Any sort of update on getting this out to the people, on plans on that?
We've kind of finally recently decided what the plans are. We got to get all our ducks in a row, so to speak, before I can announce it. But I promise it's coming. I'm more desperate than anyone to get this game out to the general public. I will say I want to bring this to a variety of platforms. We have some kind of cool release plans. I think the fans are going to be excited about it. A little unexpected, but I think cool and surprising. It's coming. We're working on it. Yeah, I mean, up until now, it's been kind of a little side project, and now we're kind of doubling down on it, going full time, and we want to get it out to the fans. So it's going to happen.
You got a web address that people can go to for updates on this stuff?
Yeah, easiest thing is jsjoust.com.
jsjoust.com. Doug, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man.